What's going on, folks? PokeDegen here. Today we're going to be talking about the massive price drops in Scarlet and Violet singles, and we're even seeing a significant decrease in the booster box value. So first up, we have this Miriam right here, okay, and you can see this downward trend line is just insane. You can see this card was sitting around $85 to $100, and today it's going for around $65, which is about a 35 to 40% decrease before release. Actually seeing a closer to a 50 to 60% decrease, okay, so a massive percentage drop. Honestly, I am a little surprised because generally this would not be a thing to worry about because this usually happens with every new set right when it drops. If you guys appreciate content like this, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I really appreciate it. Cards are going for a crazy premium day or two, but a week before the release. And come release, when everybody's ripping the packs and listing it online, of course the price starts to plummet. As you can see here, that's basically what happened. But for Scarlet and Violet, we're kind of seeing a magnified example of that scenario because the pull rates in Scarlet and Violet are much higher than past sets like in Sword and Shield and before. So we're seeing a mass quantity number of these Scarlet and Violet cards on the market. Folks, now when we're talking about any kind of investing, and when you find a product that you like, or for stocks, when you find a company that you like, or in this case in Pokemon, when you find a card or a booster box that you like, you can purchase it at a very fair and low price compared to its all-time highs. I really think these price drops can be something good for a lot of people. You can get a lot of nice cards with fantastic artwork for a reasonable price. Pokemon sets just keep rolling in. There's a lot of quantity of these cards right now, but Paldea Evolved is next month. 2 months after that, we have the next set, and we know 151 is on the horizon. So my point is, these sets are just going to keep rolling in, and these cards sitting at these prices are just going to keep getting bought up until those quantities are very low, and that's when you're going to see the premium, okay? When the quantity is very low. To get in at $65, honestly, I would wait more. Probably might even see a $50, $45 price point. To get in at that $45 to $60 price point on a beautiful card like this, on the top card and one of the best base sets we've had in a long time, can't say that's a bad play, okay? I mean, if you did buy this card at 120 plus, 150 plus, I mean, I do see why. In that case, that might be a bad play, okay? But when we're talking about strategically getting a buy point on a stock, an asset, or a card, or a booster box, for example, at a fair price and holding it for the long term, I do think that can be a good play. Now, if we look at this MIRAIDON, we're essentially seeing the same thing as a Miriam on a little lesser of a scale. We can see right around release, we're sitting at that about $80 to $90 mark. And immediately after release, we're already hitting down to that $50, $60, $70 mark. Fast forward today, where the card is around $36 to $40. Essentially talking about a 50 to 60% drop off within the first 4 weeks, okay, which is a very significant decrease. And if you're new to Pokemon and you aren't familiar with these cycles, then that price drop might cause you to panic, to FOMO, all of the above. To understand these Pokemon price market, the time to pick up singles is never right after the set releases because that's often the highest premium that you could possibly pay. Beautiful card, beautiful artwork. We have a monster legendary Pokemon, just a beast in the game. All those factors considered, when you can pick this card up for $35 to $40, pretty likely that it might even go lower. I think a very fair deal right now. So if you can kind of put your emotions to the side and put that scariness factor of these price drops, you can really set your future self up for some great entry points into some beautiful alternate arts. Up next, we have the Gardevoir EX alternate art, just a beautiful card. But if you look at the chart, we can see the same exact thing. Basically just fell off a cliff, okay? This card has just absolutely plummeted. We can see at about release, we're sitting at that $60 to $70 mark. If we fast forward 4 weeks to today, we're essentially sitting at a 50% drop from that mark at around $35 today, which is a massive decrease, a 50% decrease in just a month. Absolutely massive drop off. But again, folks, you can probably tell from the theme of this video, it's probably my favorite pickup out of all of these because this is just an iconic Pokemon, a beautiful artwork. There's like a set of 3 of them that you need to put together to get the full picture. It's just very unique. And the main thing about this, why I love this as an investment piece, we're talking $35, $30. Like I said, for an iconic Pokemon. People collect Gardevoirs, okay? They collect the evolutions. They collect them. When this set released, I sold one of these to a Gardevoir collector. And like I said, guys, I just love those cards because down the line, when there's more Gardevoir collectors and they need to add this card to their collection, and there's very limited near mint copies, and you strategically made this play in advance and you have a near mint copy, that's how you take the premium, okay? You hold a product and you wait until the supply drops down. When you have something, a very little quantity that people want, that's when you start getting the premium, okay? Right now we can see this card in the 30s because there's over 120 listings of this card. So a massive amount of these cards on TCG Player alone, it's not always going to be this way, okay? There's, 10, 12 are selling a day. We're already moving on to the next Scarlet and Violet set. While it remains at its all-time low, it's definitely when you want to make a play, okay? And it's really weird. It's really counterintuitive. I don't know why for the human mind, where we don't like to buy when we can actually get an amazing buy point, but we suddenly like to buy when something has gone up 200%. Okay, it's just a very weird psychology. It happens with stocks too, in a very similar manner. But yeah, just picking up these beautiful artworks at $30, $40, $50 and holding them for years down the line. It's very hard for me to see this as a losing play once we let that 2-3 years of compounding decrease in supply and compounding increase in premium, okay? That's really the formula you want to get, and that's really the formula you get for any Pokemon product once you stretch the time horizon long enough and if you're choosing your plays properly. Now lastly, if we look at this booster box, we can see it has been holding up pretty well, okay? And this is why I love booster boxes. While I showed you those singles in the beginning of the video that are essentially down 50 to 60% from their all-time highs before release, we can come down here to this booster box and we can see at most we're down around 15%. Okay, probably not even 15%. If you were to have bought at that super high, at that 128, 129 high, you still would have only been down 10 to 15%, which I really love when we're talking about risk management. You could have put $100 into Miriam, right? Or $100 into a booster box. That Miriam play would have lost you about 30 to 50% if you bought right at the release price, okay? And even if you bought Scarlet and Violet booster boxes right at release around 115 to 120, you're not even down 10% yet, okay? You're probably in that 7 to 10% range, 7 to 9% range, which is extremely good. When we have seen the volatility of the Pokemon markets over and over and over again, booster boxes just perform amazingly. I showed you all the volatility with the past few cards, and that was just 3-4 cards, okay? Time and time again, the booster box just proves to be the old reliable. Boxes pre-orders at 105 like you could have. I mean, it's almost impossible for you to take a loss, okay? Because once we get to 100, that's when LGSs start to net zero. It's very unlikely that they take a loss in this booster box considering the shortage of booster boxes we've had for around the past 8 to 12 months. An amazing play to manage the risk, open yourself up to the appreciation, have your capital ready, okay? When everyone's talking about this set is trash, these cards are trash, everything is going to zero, that's the time you want to buy, okay? It's the same exact thing in stocks. I know not the same concept exactly, but roughly the same concept. When people are talking about all these stocks are trash, everything's going to zero, the Fed, blah, 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 that's when you want to buy, okay? When you see that pain, when you see that blood, so to speak, that's when you want to strike, okay? And it's very hard to do so. That's why most investors fail, because at that time, your emotions are telling you the exact opposite, okay? Your emotions are telling you, don't do this. Don't you see the price drops? Didn't you just see that 50% price drop? Once you conquer those emotions, I mean, that's really 80% of investing, to tell you the truth. Just conquering those emotions and understanding your long-term game plan and not folding to the market noise. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Hope you guys have a fantastic week and take care.